I would rock a couple of these festivals and like they don't know my shit, but it's like 15,000 people rocking with me just cause like, oh,
he was doing he was doing some shit like I can speak from the outside looking in, right? So at that time, all right, so Icon is setting up these 15 show places like in some weird fucking spots that like nobody's had hit yet. You understand what I'm saying? And he's doing it by himself. So that kind of give you the air of what the game was at that time and what you could do, right? That a lot of people didn't know what you could do. So we can't get a foot in shit in Philly. I'm like, give a fuck about us in Philly. You give a fuck. But we got 20 shows in Europe that sold out.
Yep. That's exactly how it was. And for me, it was just research on the internet. Like, you know, all right, this person's throwing this show. Let me hit them up and like, oh, can I open this show? Oh, you killed it. Cool. Come back for yourself. And like, it just kind of snowballed from there. And I was lucky. I got to open Hip Hop Camp, which is like one of the biggest festivals in Europe. It's in the Czech Republic. Yes, and so many people saw me at Hip Hop Camp and they're like, oh, this guy must be famous. He's awesome. And so like they just started being more receptive. Like, yeah, I saw you at Hip Hop Camp.
Oh, I did Hip Hop Camp.
I thought you did
Czech
that
Republic.
Shit.
Yeah. I did Hip Hop Camp.
And so I did that, and then the Czech Republic had another joint, and then Slovakia had a joint, and like I opened for Nas in Slovakia. And again, it's like 25,000 people. I don't have a song that they know, but they hands in the air the whole time. Because they just appreciate the energy and the good raps and shit. So all of that created more opportunity for me to keep doing shows like that. And, you know, it just really came down to the same way that we did it in the States. So when I was doing it in the States, I had, like I was saying before, like they would give you, you know, $150, $200 to do a show. But you also got to travel there, so you're not really making no money. And my friend got his hands on, there's this thing that Greyhound has called the Ameripass. It's like this bus ticket that lasts for up to 45 days, and you can go anywhere in the States on the bus. So we had these fake fucking tickets that I was just printing out, and like I laminated them so it looked more real or whatever, and I was going everywhere.
Oh, this is a fucking exclusive, right? I didn't even know this shit. This is exclusive right here. I would have been. Listen, if I would have knew that, I would have been doing free shows.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So
if I would have knew that, I would have did free shows.
But I'm saying they weren't free then. It weren't free. It's like I was using that, and I would just hit up promoters for other people's tours and be like, "Yo, can I open this show?" So like, you know, whoever would be on tour, like Hangar 18 or whatever, like, you know, random underground hip hop act. And I'm not saying that they not dope because they was dope. But, you know, they would be on tour. I would hit up all the promoters that are doing the shows. I'm like, yo, do you have an opener? And if they didn't have an opener, they would pay me to be an opener. But if they did, they'd be like, well, I can't pay you too much, but I can give you something off the door or whatever. And I'm like, all right, well, cool. It's free for me to get there. Why not, right? Yeah. So I'll get out there and then rock those shows and again, build that network of the promoters I would start working with. So then I was able to start touring in the States, but you know, just because I have promoter friends doesn't mean I'm going to have people come to the show. So again, some of those shows was pretty light, but that's how I created that whole network of people that I could work with. And I was also booking for other people in some cases. But yeah, so the thing about the Ameripass, I had that shit for like, I was using it for like 10 months. And after that amount of time, like this shit feels real. Like you have a narrative in your head, like I bought this shit in Chicago, it cost $450 and all this other shit. So I get to Sacramento, California, which is like the farthest contiguous point in the United States from Philadelphia. And this nigga looks at my shit, he's like, this isn't real. I'm like, what you mean it's not real? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I bought this, da-da-da. And Dose was with me, and I went first through the line, and Dose was behind me. That nigga disappeared like the Homer. And anyway, they were basically like, yeah, give us the pass, get your friends too, and you can never ride Greyhound again. First of all, I got one of the most common real names in the world. Like, how you gonna keep me from riding Greyhound? Second of all, Greyhound is fucking awful. Of course I don't want to ride that shit no more. Yeah. But it was crazy because we was in the middle of a West Coast tour when this was happening, And like all the shows through Cali was like mediocre. But then Dose was like, I can't do the rest of this tour if I can't travel. And I called my dad because he lived in Seattle. I was like, yo, can you just pick me up and drive me to the rest of these shows? And he's like, yeah. And the rest of them shows, I was having like sold out shit. So like every show, I think it was like 4 or 5 more shows. It was like 300-400 people every show. And Dose was like, what the fuck? He missed that shit. At that point, we were able to like afford to rent cars and
how
shit.
the fuck is he doing these shows?
Nah,
I know
man,
nobody know who the fuck he is.
Yo,
So
it was
he
all
doing
about
this shit.
that.
It was all hitting people up on the internet.
He told me about that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I think a lot of people thought it was like, all right, I'm going to put out a few singles, I'll put out a couple albums, then some promoter or tour booker is going to come to me. That shit would have taken forever. You know what I mean? So I was like, let me just do what they do.
Once you get one, they would piggyback.
Yeah.
Especially over Europe because they want to be the first.